Kampala is Uganda's capital and largest city and the administrative and commercial center of the country. The sheer magnitude of the problems confronting administrators in Kampala Capital City Authority can be overwhelming despite attempts to have them addressed. The city's population is estimated to be 4 million, although the population more than doubles during the day as Ugandans flock to the city for work and other businesses. However, Kampala is known for traffic jams exacerbated by thousands of taxis and border motorcycles that ply the streets. Numerous slums and piles of uncollected garbage. Nearly half of its residents live in unplanned, informal settlements with less access to basic services such as water, sanitation or proper housing. Kcca generates 345,000 to 400,000 tons of garbage annually. On average, municipal councils in Uganda collect only 35% of the garbage generated annually. The Kcca's performance in solid waste management falls below the national average, with annual garbage collection somewhere between 33% and 25%. Inadequate financing is the central challenge facing Kampala Capital City Authority. Kcca needs additional financing, both domestic and foreign, to manage adequately the solid waste generated annually in the city. A report by the Auditor General notes that the city's failings in garbage collection go beyond simply insufficient resources. Despite the solid waste management problem, Kampala Capital City Authority over the years has been held into partisan political struggles that have offered a shape to the kind of quality service delivery in Kampala amidst political wars in a city hall dominated by opposition politicians versus the technical wing appointed by the president of the ruling NRM government. The tide in the recent years undermined service delivery in the capital city. However, has Dorothy Kisaka, whose contract has been renewed for 3 years, done anything to resolve the impasse?
Relationship with the political wing, that we've seen less of fights, because the public gets confused when they hear something different from the political side and the technical side. They get a little bit confused, and it makes it difficult for one to assert their authority. The other good thing that I've seen is the relationship with the, for example, the taxi drivers, the leadership. I think you have not had any strike for the last 2.5 years from the taxi guys.
The quality of roads in the city is terrible. This has prompted some residents to stage protests on roads, with the most potholes including fishing into some of the city's largest potholes after rain. In May 2023, city residents attempted to organize a photo exhibition to display photos of various potholes around the city. However, Ngabirano says the increasing breakdown of the road infrastructure in the capital city shouldn't be blamed on the authority.
Complaining about the potholes, the drainage, but it can't have been done in 2 years. It is something that was building over a period of time. We cannot blame the potholes on the current management, but it is something that exposes the bigger disease, not only of Kampala, but for the whole country.
While many analysts have compared the tenure of Kcca to that of her predecessor, Jennifer Museveni, Amanda says Kisaka'S time in office has been short that shouldn't be compared to that of her predecessor.
To see so much in 2 years after so much of a mess in the last how many years, and it would be unfair to judge anyone within a period of 2 years to have delivered for such a city that is so congested, crowded. Everybody wants a livelihood here. The city has drainage issues, solid waste management. It is really, really under pressure.
Borders have become an important novelty in mobility development that largely appears to benefit low-income users in Uganda and the Greater Kampala metropolitan area in particular. Accordingly, there has been unprecedented growth in the population of motorcycles within Kampala. Records by Kampala Capital City Authority reveal that in Kampala alone, there are 100,000 border borders. However, the management of border border has turned out to be a problem to Kcca. Ngabirano attributes the problem to gaps in the enforcement body.
You actually get an enforcement team that is genuine. It will happen. The area that I think they need to do better is to really assert themselves. Because fiscal planning is not a simple thing of just sweet-talking people. You must get the thing done. It is something that requires a bit of dictatorship of things. You're not going to see a city that is changing when you are smoothly sweet-talking people. You must be firm on the ground and communicate. The ethics of things has to change. And this is something that has to be, we have to be firm.
I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisya in Kampala.